Okay, so you think you might want to downsize to perhaps a tiny house or an ADU in your backyard, rent out the big house, really have a simple life, but you're worried. I get it. You're worried that maybe it's not the right choice for you. I'll help you weigh the benefits and drawbacks of downsizing. And I'll share my favorite hack for deciding if downsizing is the right choice for you. Hi, I'm Renee, and I downsized from 3,300 square foot, 5 bedroom, 4 bath giant house to 87 square foot tiny home on wheels. It was a drastic change, and I don't regret it at all. But downsizing is not for everyone. And you do want to find out before you get rid of your belongings and take that giant leap if downsizing is right for you, if it's going to add joy and happiness to your life, if it's going to relieve stress, not cause it. Downsizing has really become a hot topic lately. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are doing it because it has amazing benefits. I think that most of the benefits are pretty well known, but I did do a video on the 6 surprising benefits of owning less stuff. And I'll put a link to that below in the description so you can check that out. But today we're going to talk about the worries that you might have and the situations where maybe downsizing isn't right for you. So if you are worried that you will miss the stuff that you give up to downsize, that you'll regret it and you wish you hadn't have done that and you want those things back, or if you feel like the space itself is too small for you, if you're worried that you'll feel cramped, or that your pets will get cabin fever and that you will just feel like the space is too small and kind of almost claustrophobic, stick with me today. We are going to talk about those two particular topics and how you can know if those issues are going to be an issue for you. So to know if the space feels too small for you, I would say give it a trial run. There are a lot of options out there to do this. So one is our event, Tiny Fest California. You can come and tour 24 different homes. You'll see if a space feels too small for you. This one feels just right. That one feels maybe even too big. You'll feel like Goldilocks, trying on the different sizes. And you'll know when you walk in if it's like, oh, this kind of feels a little cramped. Or if you'll have the reaction that we hear all the time when folks step into a tiny house for the first time, they're like, wow, it's bigger than I thought. There's much more room than I thought. And so it's even the tall guys. We get these tall guys a lot that come to the event that are like, oh, I'm 6'5", I can't live in a tiny house. Well, guess what? The tiny house that I'm standing in is like 11 feet tall. It's like a vaulted ceiling. So, someone tall comes in here, they feel good. They feel like they have space to move. So besides going to an event, those are far and few between. Unfortunately, there are only a few in the country, but there are tiny houses on Airbnb or other short-term rental options all over the country. And you can go check in for a night, check in for 2 or 3 if you want, and really get a feel for the space. Like, how do I enjoy having this much, or some might say this little space to just literally move around in? Just know that when you're staying at an Airbnb or some other kind of short-term rental, that home is set up for you to stay a day or 2 or maybe a week. It does not have everything in it that you would probably use if you live there for 6 months or a year or a lifetime. So, look at the space and think about how you would use it differently. It's a great opportunity while you're there to think about what you would put where. For instance, this tiny house that I am standing in is on my property. It is a short-term rental. If I lived in this house, it would look very different. I can do a whole video on how I would redo things in the tiny house and why and where I would put things and how I would make it work best for full-time living. So just comment below if you want me to do that. I will do a video on the difference between how you use space for 2 days and how you use it for a lifetime. The question of, does this space feel good to me is a lot easier to resolve. Like I said, just go try it out, stay for a while, see how you feel. You'll have your answer, lickety split. The other issue, though, wondering if you'll regret giving up your stuff, well, that's a little harder to figure out. And most people worry because once they give it away, they can't easily get it back. And so if that's the wrong choice for them, if they feel, deprived that they don't have all the things that they used to, that's a little harder to predict. I do have a way to get a feel for whether or not you will miss those things in your life, those mementos, those heirloom pieces, the choices. Some people just love having, 20 choices for shoes and 30 options for shirts. If you love those choices, you may regret downsizing too much. Little hint, you don't have to downsize to 87 square feet. Tiny houses, ADUs, small homes come in all sizes. But back to the topic at hand. If you are worried that giving up your belongings and your mementos would really make you sad, I guess is a good way to put it, that you would lose that happiness, you would regret not having those comforts around you, those options around you, the choices that maybe you've grown used to. There are some things that you'll probably downsize and get rid of that are small conveniences that you can easily live without. But if it feels like you had to sacrifice to be here, then it is not going to be the right choice for you. Your downsizing, your tiny home, accessory dwelling unit, backyard cottage, whatever you downsize to, smaller home, whatever it is, it should not feel like a sacrifice. Downsizing is meant to bring you joy and freedom. So how do you know if that'll happen or not? Here is my best hack. Just like the other issue, give it a trial run. You can test the waters without stress and without regrets by pretending to downsize. So what do I mean, pretend to downsize? Well, what I would recommend is to take the items that you think you would be getting rid of to downsize and just box them up. Maybe put them in particular cupboards or in the bottom of the closet. Don't give them up right now. If you're worried that it's the wrong choice, don't do it. So pretend to downsize as far as you think you want to downsize without actually giving away the things that you are worried you might regret giving away. So there may be little things that you pull out of the I was going to get rid of box, and there may be big things. So I know recently I downsized a few things in my little teeny tiny kitchen, and luckily I hadn't taken the box to the donation center yet because I ended up pulling out 2 things back out of it. So it was kind of like my little trial run. The kitchen is where I recommend you begin. So take your kitchen, maybe choose a few cupboards, just a couple, not the whole pantry, not all the cabinets, just maybe 4 drawers and a couple of cupboards, and put the things that you think you would continue to use after you downsize, those things you're going to keep, put them in those cupboards. Put everything else in the other cabinets, cupboards, drawers, whatever. Put tape over them if you want, or just know that, rather than all of this, this is now your kitchen space and everything you need is in here. You've downsized to 2 plates or 4 plates. Do you find that you miss having more? You'll learn that when you get rid of those gadgets. And you didn't get rid of them, you just put them off to the side, but you've put that gadget off to the side to where you say, okay, I'm pretending like I don't have it. I don't have that special apple cutter. What am I going to do? Oh, okay, I'm going to take out a knife and I'm going to cut the apple just like, grandma used to do. Right. And so if you find that, you're having to do that a lot and it doesn't feel comfortable to you, then you'll know you miss that one particular item or you miss a whole lot of particular items and maybe downsizing isn't the right option. But if you're like, oh, hey, I didn't know I could cook so well with just 3 pans. This is great. Then you know that downsizing your kitchen is an option. And so um, this then you can repeat in different rooms. I'd say the bathroom is a pretty easy one to do. Take the few things you think you'd keep, all those extra shampoos and lotions and scrubbies and back stock of things, right? If you look, you'll see you have, you know, backups of a lot of things or 3 or 4 of a lot of things. Just put a piece of tape on that cabinet door and see how long you can really comfortably go without even getting in there. So the kitchen, the bathroom, and your bedroom. Here's another one with your clothes. See, I don't know. Do you think you could get by with 50% of what you have? Do you think that you'd be comfortable with 30%? Give it a try. Take those clothes. You don't even have to box them up, just like the ones in your closet. Take a garbage bag, put a hole in the top, put the garbage bag over the clothes, and then they're not as easily accessible. And you're not going to flip through them to see if there's something there that you'd like to wear. See how it feels when those options are out of sight, out of mind, and your selection is smaller. Do you still feel comfortable or do you feel deprived? Do you feel like you don't have fun choices to wear? Do you feel like you have to sacrifice in what you're choosing and how you feel when you dress and go out in the day? Another option is to put the stuff in like those totes that go under the bed. So you don't have to have a lot of room to store things and get rid of things. You don't have to have a lot of boxes in your room because that stuff is going to just go down to the bottom of the closet or under the bed or covered up with the garbage bag. And same thing as with the kitchen. If you have a 5 drawer dresser, um, maybe put the things you think you'll use in the top 3. The bottom 2 are stuff you are probably going to get rid of if you downsize. See how it feels. This is a no risk solution. And it doesn't even take that much time really because you're not deciding, am I going to donate this? Am I going to give it to a friend? Am I, going to throw it away? And you don't have to be, extremely particular about it. Just move it from one drawer to another. No risk. You can always go back. So no risk, but this tactic has a lot of rewards. So if it'll save you from regret, then that is a big reward. If it proves to you that you can do just fine without all this stuff, and people are right, oh my gosh, it feels so much better. It feels like a weight off your shoulders. It feels like there's less to take care of and like less on your plate. Like this is that magic people are talking about. Then you've proven to yourself that you are ready. And sometimes there's a little bit in between, like, okay, I've learned that in my house, I want a little bit larger kitchen area, but a smaller bathroom, or vice versa. You'll learn how much storage you actually do need for your tiny home. So when you're ready to take that leap and downsize to the next level down, or maybe 5 levels down, like I did, you will do so confidently, and you'll come out on the other end with the joy and the financial relief and just that relief off your shoulders that you were aiming for when you thought about downsizing. And when you do decide that yes, downsizing is the right thing for you, well, you're halfway there. I mean, you already decided what to keep and what to get rid of, and you have it set aside. So you're ready for the next step. You're on a roll. Also, know you don't have to downsize drastically. Housing is not a one size fits all option. And you should never feel bad about feeling like you are more comfortable in more or less. It's not a comparison game with someone else, it's a personal decision. and it has a huge impact on your life. So do what's right for you, and hopefully downsizing is it. Downsizing can feel great, but not if you're living with regrets. If there are other regrets you're worried about, please let me know in the comments, and I'll help you sort through the worry and help you make sure that downsizing is the right choice for you. The last thing you want to do is strive for the joy of downsizing and regret the choices you made. If you're still here with me at the end, thank you. You are my favorite people. I truly appreciate it. Please give this video a like and subscribe.